Hi everyone, my name is Kim. This afternoon we're continuing on. We're going to learn about ENFJ'S and when they're under stress, what loops and what grips they fall into. ENFJ'S, they're very empathetic, very caring people. They're not judgmental. They're accepting of any personality type, any person. They give good advice. It's usually, to do with relationships and all that stuff because, they have FE. They're focused on people. That is their main focus. That's their dominant function. All right, let's go into their loop, and their loop is the FESE loop. Okay, so when they're in this loop, they are focusing way too much on sensory things, sensory experiences, sensory details. So they're bypassing introverted intuition when they're in this loop, and NI is very important for their type because NI helps them to see a vision, what they want to do in life, what they want to do in the future, what goals they want to do and meet down the road into the future. So when they're in this loop, they're bypassing NI. NI is a very important component to this type, just as it is for INFJs and INTJs. So they're FESE. So they're not thinking about their future. They're not thinking, having a future focus. They're not focusing on the future. They're not making goals, for the future, So they're bypassing that function. Also, they're bypassing introverted thinking, and introverted thinking it helps them to be logical. It helps them to because ENFJs generally they like to help everyone. That's how caring and empathetic they are. And so ENFJs, they need to set boundaries because they do a lot for people. And that's the same thing with ESFJs too. The ESFJs have to set boundaries too because they do a lot of things for people because they care about these people. And the same thing with ENFJs. And so TI helps them to put healthy boundaries. Okay, so they're not, overextending themselves to everyone they meet or in their life. Okay, so they're bypassing those two functions. They're only living in the moment. They're not thinking about their future or future goals. The vision they have, what they want down the road, what life they want in the future. They also, when they're in this loop, they overextend themselves with regards to giving advice. And so what this means is that they can, just give unsolicited advice. When a person didn't ask them for their advice. They just kind of move in there and just, give them advice, when maybe they just wanted a listening ear. Okay? And so they do this. They get way too involved in a person's life. If that person has not said to them, I need to talk to you, there's some personal issues I'm dealing with, but, if a person is not saying that, ENFJs, they just overextend themselves and they give unsolicited advice. And so that's, the FE part of the loop. The SE, they're focusing on a lot of sensory things. That's more important to them, and they end up bypassing NI, which is a very important component to their type. Okay, so that's their loop. Now let's go into their grip. So their grip, they have TI. So they're just using TI. Now when they're just using TI, they're overanalyzing things. They're, focused mainly on logic. They can become critical of themselves, and they can become critical of others. Also, just using TI, it makes them, analytical, and they're not warm-hearted. That is naturally how they are. But when they're in this grip, the TI grip, they can be detached, and they can be rigid with any sort of information or perspective or someone's, opinion on something. They can be rigid. They don't want to hear it. And like I have said, types that have TI and ENFJs have TI last. But when they're in the TI grip, their TI, they become, they start to have that mentality, the rightness fixation. And I've mentioned that with a couple other types that have TI in their function stack. So they start to think that they have all the answers. No one else does. They can figure it out. They're using their logic. They're using TI. And everyone else is wrong. And so that is that rightness fixation that all type, or not all types, but some types that have TI in their function stack, no matter if it's higher up, if they're TI DOMs, or if it's second, or if it's third, or if it's last, they still have that rightness fixation and that everyone else is wrong and they're right, and they become just so rigid, in that sort of mentality. And they become detached. They're normally not detached. They're warm. They're warm-hearted people. They emulate, such strong, warm feelings. They're about not rocking the boat, but, keeping the group harmony. That is very important to them because of being lead FE and people focused. So group harmony That's what they value, and that is what is important for this type. And so when they're in this TI grip, they are not using extroverted feeling. So that warmth is not there. And they're not, when they're just using their TI, ENFJs, they're not connecting with people, when normally they desire to connect with a lot of people. But they're not doing that in the TI grip. Also, they are bypassing introverted intuition. Like I'd mentioned, their vision, what they want in their life to happen in the future, or they have future goals. They have lots of good things to look forward to in the future. Being in the TI grip, they're bypassing NI, and they're bypassing FE. I think that's it for functions they're bypassing. My time is getting over here. So I hope that you enjoy this video. And if you're an ENFJ, maybe this can help you recognize when you're under stress what loops you may go into and what grips to. Maybe this video can help you out. I hope you have a good afternoon, and thank you for watching my channel, and I'm going to say goodbye.